What if your self-confidence was never broken, just buried? So many of us are taught to doubt ourselves in the name of humility. But I'm going to share with you why you were born with self-confidence and how you can access your self-confidence once more. Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Martin and I made it my mission, my purpose to share with you my life experiences, my learnings and lessons from life in my personal life, but also through my work as a coach. And I made it really my intention here to inspire you to live a self-led life where you are taking charge of your choices and your actions, and where you are taking responsibility for your own life. And it's a pleasure to be here, and let's dive into it. So, as I hinted in the beginning of the video, you were born with self-confidence. And why am I saying that with so much confidence? Because look at babies. Look at babies. Does a baby think, oh my God, should I cry? Should I ask for food right now? Like, what are they going to think of me? No. Babies just scream when they are hungry, they cry, they fart, they burp, they whatever they do, they just do it. And I'm not saying to do all of those things without kind of like having any kind of regard or respect for other people around you, but no pun intended. It's like we are born with that skill of self-confidence where we don't care about what other people think, where we are not focused on other people's opinion. Heck, we're not even born, or when we are born, we are not even focused on our own opinion about ourselves. This reminds me of a quote, and I think it really ties into the topic of self-confidence. It says, I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think that you think I am. And what that really means is that so often the self-image that we have about ourselves is like, if we want to know who we are and what we truly think about ourselves, we just have to ask ourselves, how do I think other people think about me? I've seen that so many times with myself, like walking down the street, thinking like, oh, are they going to think I'm weird when I'm laughing? Or do I have something like in my, like on my face that like, why are people looking at me, you know? Or why are people laughing who are walking behind me? Do they think I'm like, I have something on my, like on my pants or on my shoes or whatever? So it's like my own self-doubt kicking in, making me think about what other people think about me. And usually that's not the nicest, not the nicest things come up. Very often when we think about what other people think about us, it's more the critic that shows up, the self-doubt, like talking ourselves, like making ourselves small. Babies don't do that. Babies don't do that. And why? Because their consciousness, their conscious part of their mind is not yet fully developed. So they don't have that thinking mind that we have. They don't have all those patterns in their subconscious either, where they are like holding themselves back based on experience, based on what happened in the past, like trauma or any kind of those things where it's like connected to how very often as like when we grow older, what we do and how we think and how we behave, because babies don't have that experience yet. Reminds me of something in my youth. One thing or one reason, and it's very interesting, is like when I hear people like on the train, or especially when they come towards me or when people are behind me and they're laughing, To this day, I still have that kind of like, oh, do I have something stuck on my pants? Or is there something in my face? The reason why, or one of the reasons why, is because I remember I was in high school, and there was some kind of, we went to church, and then we were standing up and sitting down in between, and then there were three girls behind me, and they started giggling. And first I didn't think any of it, and then every time when we stood up, they started giggling. And then I turned around and was like, why are you giggling, And they're like, oh, no, nothing. And then they continued. And then I asked again, I turned around and was like, why are you giggling the whole time? What is so funny? And then they're like, oh, there's a chewing gum stuck on your pants. So apparently someone put chewing gum on the bench in church, and I didn't see it, and I sat on it, and it got stuck to my pants. And the girls behind me thought it was so funny, started laughing. But for me, the whole, the rest of the time when we were in there, I tried to get that chewing gum off my pants. And it was, looking back, it's a ridiculous kind of scenario. But that, I think, still has an effect on me today, where when people are laughing behind me, I always look if there's something on my pants. But the thing is, it's important to recognize that behavior, to call ourselves out on it and say, I know where this is coming from, or even if we don't know where it's coming from, but that we recognize our behavior, because only when we are aware of our behavior, of our reactions, of our triggers, then we can actually change something. And me knowing that this is happening, every time I catch myself when someone is giggling or laughing behind me, or somewhere around me, I always tell myself, allow them to have fun and be happy or whatever. The chance that they're laughing about you is very small. And even if so, well, then they should have a great life and laugh, why should I care? And I could only do this or say this and not get affected by it anymore, because now the thought sometimes pops up when this is happening, but emotionally I'm not triggered anymore. Previously I was emotionally I had a reaction to it, but now I don't have that emotional reaction anymore. And the thing is, I could only change that by by reconnecting to my self-confidence. And now this was not a simple process. It took me years, because I didn't really know what self-confidence meant, how to get self-confidence back and all that crap. It's nothing you get back. It's nothing that other people give you. People can maybe motivate you or inspire you by saying oh, you're an amazing person. You're really good at this. You're really good at that. Yeah, but the thing is, if we don't believe it ourselves, it's not going to have an impact on how we see ourselves. I'm going to be very open and vulnerable right now. For most of my life, I really did not like the way I look. I always found something where I'm don't like it. I was so worried about what other people are going to think. I always thought people are going to reject me because I'm ugly. I heard those kind of things for many, 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 many years. In my youth, I got a 5-minute hate video of someone that I kind of had a crush on. We were friends, and then I was like, oh, I have a crush on you. And then I got a 5-minute hate video about how ugly I was. Okay. And another not friend anymore, he rated me once with school grades from A to F. A is the lowest, A is the best, F is the lowest, and I got a D minus. So it's right before F, because there's no E. So it's from D to F, not much space, and I was a D minus, and I'm okay. And he himself would rate himself as an A plus kind of. And I was like, so many of those experiences have kind of influenced me. So it's not that I never had self-confidence, but it was covered behind experiences and me accepting other people's opinion. The thing is, my family, my friends, like none of them could have then, like after those experiences, have convinced me that the way I look is not just okay, but that I'm beautiful, I'm handsome. I couldn't believe it. To a certain degree nowadays, still I'm struggling with it sometimes to believe it. And it's very, very, very much connected to self-confidence, self-love, self-respect, self-image. In my childhood, I was different. I didn't care about what people are going to think. I was just myself. I didn't really care about like the way other people are going to see me or perceive me. I was just myself. I played the drums. I played European handball. I was very, very good at those things as well. So I like naturally had that kind of self-confidence boost, you would imagine. But in my youth, that all kind of started to be covered in layers of self-doubt, self-criticism, because I started listening to what other people think about me. And I listened to the wrong people. So the first thing I advise you to do is, if you are struggling with self-confidence, stop listening to people who are talking negative shit about you. Stop listening to those people. They're no fun. They're not good for you. They are terrible for you. If they are talking negatively about you, then the best thing you can do is turn around and run away as fast as you can. I know sometimes it's not that easy because they might be family, they might be so-called friends, co-workers, whatever. Like there's sometimes a lot of reasons why we cannot just walk away from people. And that's fine, that's absolutely okay. Then you have to energetically walk away from those people. Over the past few months, I've done a meditation almost every day. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do it every single day, but I think out of the past 4 or 3 months, I missed maybe like a handful of days where I didn't do the meditation. And you can look it up, it's on YouTube as well, Aaron Doughty's frame technique meditation. It's so incredibly powerful because it really energetically, it allows you to distance yourself from other people. Like when I get affected by life circumstances or by other people and I do that meditation, I can immediately feel a difference. I was working with a client in the beginning of the year and also end of last year, beginning of this year, and they had some anxiety going on, and I showed them this meditation, and they were like, within a couple seconds into the video, they already felt like the anxiety is dropping. And because of a situation that happened with another person involved, that was where it's not as easy to kick them out of their lives. So do that meditation, look it up, it's so powerful. I can only recommend doing that every single day, basically. So it's really about disconnecting yourself, or not disconnecting, but detaching yourself energetically from negative people around you. Another thing, very, very big thing when it comes about self-confidence, you catch that little word in there that it starts with? Self. It always starts with you. It starts with you. It's about you starting to gain trust again in yourself. If you do not trust yourself, how can you have confidence in yourself? But how do you start trusting? Like when it comes to another person, how do you develop trust? By talking to them, getting to know them committing to something and then keeping their word, showing up for you, treating you with kindness, respect, acknowledging you, talking nicely about you, or telling you the truth. And if you're struggling with self-confidence, I'm quite sure that you're also struggling with the things that I just said about what you expect from other people when you're starting to develop trust. You cannot develop self-confidence, a healthy form of self-confidence, if you do not practice self-love, if you don't respect yourself, if you don't show up for yourself, if you're not taking those steps every single day. And I'm not talking about like that toxic positivity, but a self-love practice where you're showing up for yourself, no matter if you're feeling up or if you're feeling down, where you're showing up for yourself every single day, consciously showing up for yourself. Because that's how you develop trust, that you're like, I don't feel like getting up and doing this, but hey, I'm gonna do it anyways because I am worth it. I know I can do it. I'm building that trust to do it. So it's really about the way you're showing up every single day for yourself. And that over time is going to have a very, very huge impact on you, where you are starting to trust yourself and through that also gain self-confidence. Because it's nothing else than confidence in self. The confidence that you have in yourself. But you need to practice on a regular basis every day in order for you to gain that kind of level of self-confidence. Another thing that helps a lot for some people it might have the opposite effect. So best thing you can do is try it out. And that is do something where you might be really bad at. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but I've done that in acting. Like the first time I was on stage, I sucked. I was so bad. I was whispering. I couldn't project my voice. My body was like, I didn't know what to do. I misunderstood what my scene partner was saying. There was like a word that at that point I never heard before. It was like about honeymoon. And we were like playing lovers and I understood honeymoon. And I'm like, honeymoon? Like I know what honey is and what a mood is, but like, what is a honeymoon? And I didn't understand until later on. I was like, oh, honeymoon. Okay, that's what, okay. And but I was too shy to really like ask like, oh, can we do that again? Or I was just shy and like, so yeah, absolutely not self-confident. And through showing up every single day, learning and studying, learning more about myself, being vulnerable, being open, accessing my emotions, my fears, like going really deep within me through acting, I started to develop self-confidence. Now, the problem is that a lot of people think self-confidence is the same as being like cocky or like being really like, oh, I'm better than everybody else. And that's why very often we are taught to not be self-confident or not too much because of what other people are going to think. Oh, if you're too self-confident, then people are going to think you are like, on that high horse or whatever. BS. Like that is so far from the truth. Self-confidence has nothing to do with you being like, oh, I'm better than everybody else. Self-confidence is basically just that you say, I am good enough the way that I am. I'm worthy for who I am right here, right now. I don't need to conform to other people's ideas in order for me to experience love and belonging. I don't need to prove myself to other people that I am amazing and that I am beautiful and that I am worthy of connection. That is self-confidence, where you are like, I am worthy. The way I am right now is who I am right now. That's why I always say we were born worthy. Because if you look at a baby is worthy. You wouldn't say to a baby like, oh, look at you, baby. You are not worthy. You need to prove yourself. What? Who would say that? But then they grow up and they're like, they start becoming like tiny little humans. And then suddenly we're like, oh, you have to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself in school. You have to prove yourself in social settings. You have to prove yourself in families. And then we start creating that, like, I have to prove myself. I have to prove myself. When in reality, you were born worthy. Because look at your little baby beingness. So cute and awesome and maybe a little chubby or whatever. Like, it's the baby you is like, it was born worthy. So you are now the same. You are worthy for who you really are. No matter what people say, what they think, what they expect from you. And very often we change when we are starting to become self-confident. People are going to start disliking you because they're like, who are you? Why are you so weird? Well, because I'm self-confident. And self-confidence doesn't mean that we're always like chill and that we're showing up and like, oh, I'm, Superman or whatever. No. Self-confident can also mean that we're showing up sweaty and like really uncomfortable, but we're like, I'm still here. I'm still showing up. Because I know that I can get through this. That I can deal with this situation. That I can deal with the nervousness. It's like me being or doing these videos. I don't always feel like comfortable where I'm like, oh, I'm so confident. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like overthinking or like, what the hell is going on? Like, then I feel like a bodily sensation, whatever. But I'm still showing up. I don't cut the videos, except when I had when I started coughing once during a video. I was like, I'm not going to let anyone, like, I don't want to ruin anyone's ears. So I'm like, I cut those videos. But usually I do not cut my videos. Well, on 2 occasions. The second occasion was because I was just 3 times I wanted to repeat something that I said before. And I said, oh, the first thing was, and then I forgot what I said because I was talking about a lot of different things. So I cut and I was like, I have to look at what the order was of the things that I mentioned. So I don't want to confuse anyone with what I said. But other than that, I'm just showing up as the raw me because I'm like, I just want to show myself, whatever comes up, whatever emotions comes up. If there's insecurity that comes up, or like now when I misspelled a word and I'm like, I'm not going to cut the video and repeat it like perfectly. I'm like, no, because that is like the opposite of what I want to show you here, what I want to inspire you to be. Like, there are fuck ups, there are mistakes, there are things that we are not getting right, but that is like the beauty of humanness, the imperfections that we have. They make us unique. They make us, like, life is so much more fun. Like, when I look at the things that I mispronounce or whatever, sometimes I have a like laugh. When I talk with friends and I'm like weird or confused, whatever, it's fun. Like, you can get so much fun when you start to not taking everything seriously. And that's also connected to self-confidence. Stop taking yourself so seriously. Seriously, life is not that serious. I mean, yes, it is, because we are alive and it's important to experience like the ups and downs and in betweens. And a lot of people are going through horror scenarios. Like they're going through the most devastating, horrific experiences. I'm not talking about those people. I'm not talking about the people who are like in unimaginable situations. I'm talking about people who are in like more or less a safe space where they are having, for the most regard, the freedom to be who they are. And that's a lot of people. And still, we are imprisoning ourselves, not showing ourselves because we don't have confidence in who we are. So again, I would really recommend that you do a meditation every single day. If you are interested in the meditation, like I mentioned before, it's Aaron Dowdy's frame technique meditation. It's amazing. And start working on yourself. Start looking at who you are. How are you showing up every single day? Are you showing up with kindness, with respect? Are you loving yourself? Are you treating yourself like this little baby that you were when you entered this world? Treat yourself like that, with that worthiness. And self-confidence is going to be a result of that. And also do things that you might be really bad at, because through the repetition, through the openness to fail, you will also learn a lot about yourself, and you will stop taking certain things seriously. Especially when you're like, well, I'm showing up doing something that I'm not good at. Then when you do show up for things that you know that you're good at, then self-confidence is also going to be way easier to feel and experience in those moments. All right, I would love to hear from you in the comments how your take is on self-confidence, and especially what helps you to implement. What are things that you do like on a every single day to boost self-confidence? I would love to hear from you. Share it so that other people can also learn from you. That would really mean the world to me, because I really want to create this community of like-minded people who are supporting each other, and that because we are on this journey of growth of life together. So let's share and support each other in every way possible. All right, thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Thank you for listening, and yeah, hope to see you in the next video. As always, lots of love and a big hug.